And welcome back, and in this segment we will be discussing the important role of the social media and means of utilizing the social media in a positive way that would enrich our country as well as also support our youth as well. And joining us right now in the studio is Professor of Mass Communications, Dr. Magda Bagneid. Good morning.
Good morning, Rashad. How are you doing?
It's great to see you.
Dr. Magda, the social media nowadays became an obsession to the younger generation, of course, and our generation as well. If someone loses his device, he feels that he's blocked from the whole world. Mm-hmm. So how do you explain such a phenomenon?
Well, this is true because technology and things advance in communication, media. You have to follow what is up to date. Otherwise, if you do not, you're going to be very much behind. So if you lose it, then you don't have anything of information. You feel that you're cut off. Because today, if you're talking about the traditional media, I'm talking about radio, television, and what have you, other things like that, newspapers even, are not even sufficient. Many people started even to depend on their social media. I'm talking here about Facebook, about Twitter, even Instagram, and whatever is Flickr, whatever is there. So even Flickr is now old enough. And every now and then you find an advancement in the feed. Why? Because this is handy, quick. If this is in your phone, it's handy. You can just open and look and see what is the latest news. Sometimes I take the newspaper with me going to, to my work. What happens is that I said, okay, 1 minute, I'm going to have a look, to the social media or to the Facebook, what is happening, or to the news, or to, the news in general, because there is a site for that. By the time I finish, I found the newspaper there beside me. I did not even open it. Untouched. And that happened for 3 days. I have an article in the newspaper, 3 days, going and coming, commuting to the university. I don't have time even to look. So this will show you the importance. If I'm talking about myself as a professor of media and communication, how about the young ones? I'm talking about the students, about the man in the street. He does not even have time as well. They wanted to have everything from the top, the latest. So they depend on it, and they depend heavily. We are worried because it's an addiction. It's not something that you can just throw away and say, okay, I'm going to stop this. You cannot, because people sometimes, they stop it and then they get back. And it becomes worse because before they sleep, you say, okay, let me see, did I get any like here? Did somebody comment about my point that, yeah, my sites. So before they sleep, people now sleep very late. Why? Because sometimes I put something and I find the answer right away and it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Look at that. And then people, when they wake up, the first thing, what is happening in Egypt, in the world? What's happening in the sports? Whatever it is. So it's problematic, but this is the pace of our time. Things are running very fast. Mm-hmm. Are they competing with the traditional media? Sure, they are.
Mm-hmm. Doctor, before the interview, we were talking about the use of social media as a political tool. Uh-huh. Would you shed more light on that, please?
That's a very good question. Okay, I'll tell you what. To see the importance of the social media, let me talk about Twitter. You know that the American president, the American-elect President Trump, Donald Trump, he now is in war with the media. I think so. And last time I was just watching, he was still in war with the media. CNN and others, and Washington Post and so on. So he does not believe of the news coming out of this great organization when they started. So he uses Twitter, talking to his people. So by talking to his people, this is just to show you how important, how important using, the social media. He said, I put that in Twitter. Imagine a president and a head of state of one of the biggest countries in the world does not talk directly, but he's using the Twitter. So this shows you that how many people are depending on social media. It's a whole lot. And not only in the United States, if you'd like to know what is going on, you yourself from another part of the world, you can even join. And one of the advantages is that it's instantaneous and anybody can reach it. So you don't have to to wait until the news would come to you, until you open radio, or until you just have a site, even in the internet, you know, when you have the computer, PC at home or whatever. But this is like a telephone. What is happening now? And especially if you have certain sites that you would like to just to mark, and then, you know, the news will come to you in the news feed. So you can just tell the importance of it. Yeah.
Okay, as a professor of mass communication, you have to follow on a daily basis the advancement of technology. Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So how you reach the younger generation with your way of teaching or giving the session?
Let me tell you something. From my experience, I did not even wait for that point. The assistants in my university, for instance, we have a special page that if we'd like to tell something to the students, we just you know, post it there. I have a special page in my for my classes, for instance, Dr. Magda Bagneid's courses or something like that. So I have my students only. They would, you know, log in and they get the information. Why? Because you want to reach them right away. And the funny part about it is that you can read the comment right away. Really? Do we have that class tomorrow? If somebody's coming or something, you have to tell them. If they have an assignment and so on. And sometimes what is bothering me with the social media is the language being used. The Franco, is it called the Franco?
Franco-Arab, yeah.
It's terrible. And you do not know, and they change in it. For instance, if you have the letter Ain or Ghain or something like that, it takes
7 or the 3 or a couple of other letters to compensate for it.
Double time to figure out what they are saying. And they go on talking and something like that. I said, oh my God, that will take double time. It's the language itself of the new generation, if you'd like to call it. But they are spoiling Arabic and English. I do not know.
They are using their own language.
Yes, and otherwise you're using the signs, the emoticons, okay, the smile and the angry and the happy. So I said it's safer to use the emoticons and the emotional side than to write this Arabic language, Franco. You know, it's very difficult.
I feel that it's taking part of human communication because you send a nice comment and then you find someone sending you just a smile and that's it. How can we get over that, or is it a phenomenon that unfortunately we have to live with?
Development. Things are developing. You do not know what will happen tomorrow. For instance, you do not want to answer somebody if you say yes or no, you might be